Ethan stumbled into the bathroom, still heavy with sleep, and turned on the light. The familiar hum filled the silence as he leaned over the sink and splashed cold water on his face. Dripping, he slowly lifted his head toward the mirror and froze. The room reflected perfectly, the pale walls, the flickering bulb, the towel hanging crookedly behind him. But where his reflection should have been, there was nothing. Just an empty space, like he didn't exist. His breath quickened. He waved his hand in front of the mirror, faster and faster, but it remained blank. "No, this isn't real," he whispered, stepping back. He rubbed his eyes hard, then looked again. Still nothing. Heart pounding, Ethan grabbed his phone and switched to the front camera. His face appeared instantly. Relief hit him, but only for a second. Because behind him, in the mirror, something moved. Ethan couldn't stop thinking about what he saw. The image on his phone had been normal, but the mirror told a different story. That night, the silence in his apartment felt heavier than ever. Shadows clung to the walls as he slowly walked back into the bathroom, his heart beat loud in his ears. He forced himself to look at the mirror again. At first, it was empty, just like before. But then, a faint distortion rippled across the glass, like water trembling after a stone is dropped. Ethan held his breath. A dark shape began to form, blurry and uneven, slowly taking a human outline. It looked like him, but wrong. The figure's head tilted sharply to the side. Ethan didn't move. A cold chill ran down his spine as the shape inside the mirror lifted its hand, copying him. But Ethan's hands were still. The following days blurred into a constant state of fear. Ethan barely left his apartment, yet people kept insisting they had seen him outside, talking, laughing, living like nothing was wrong. His phone filled with messages asking why he was acting strange, why he was ignoring them in person but replying normally online. None of it made sense. Desperate, he checked the security cameras in his building. His hands trembled as he watched the footage. There he was walking through the lobby, greeting the guard, even smiling. But Ethan remembered staying inside the entire time. That wasn't him. Late that night, he stood in front of the mirror again. This time, his reflection appeared. But it wasn't empty anymore. It stared back at him with a slow, unnatural grin. Ethan's own face remained frozen in terror. Then the reflection spoke softly, its lips moving perfectly. "You're not needed anymore." Sleep became impossible for Ethan. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw a warped version of his world, dark, cracked, and lifeless, like reality had rotted away. In those dreams, he stood inside the mirror, pounding against the glass, screaming while no sound escaped. On the other side, the other Ethan lived freely, smiling, talking, replacing him piece by piece. Waking up brought no relief. His body felt lighter, weaker, as if he were slowly fading. Objects slipped from his hands. His voice sometimes echoed strangely, like it didn't fully belong in the room anymore. He searched desperately for answers, digging through old forums and forgotten stories. Again and again, one idea appeared: mirrors as gateways, traps for souls when something from the other side wanted out. That night, the reflection returned, calm and confident. "You're already slipping," it whispered. And Ethan knew, he was running out of time. Ethan gathered the last of his strength and stood before the mirror, his legs trembling but his eyes filled with desperate determination. "I won't let you take my life," he said, his voice barely steady. The reflection stared back, calm and amused, its smile stretching wider than it should. "You don't have a choice anymore," it replied softly. Suddenly, a sharp crack split across the mirror. The air turned icy as an unseen force pulled at Ethan's body. He grabbed the sink, his fingers slipping as the pull grew stronger. Inch by inch, he was dragged forward, his reflection stepping closer from the other side. With one final jerk, Ethan was yanked into the glass. Silence followed. The next morning, everything seemed normal. Ethan stood in front of the mirror, fixing his hair, a perfect smile on his face. Because now, the reflection was real. And the real Ethan was gone.